Well, listeners, there is an album coming out on August 23rd that you might be very, very excited about. It is from the band All for Metal. It's their brand new album called Gods of Metal, and today we thought we'd find out a little bit more about this album by actually getting Jasmine on the phone to chat a little bit about it. So welcome to the program, Jasmine.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very happy and very looking forward to answer all the brilliant questions you've been preparing throughout the last days. So yeah, bring it on.
So Jasmine, our listeners have had lots of opportunities to take a listen to the singles off this album so far, and they've absolutely fallen in love with it. So I wanted to start off by asking, how do you feel now with the album about to come out in just over a month?
I'm pretty much excited since also we try to get our journey into Far Eastern lands with Gods of Metal. So we kind of are curious how the people will like it. Since for the first album, Legends, we had, of course, our intro track, All for Metal, where people are really literally going crazy. I think this video is also close to hit 1 million views on YouTube. So, of course, it's a challenge to raise the bar even higher because you know it. If you get people into your music, they anticipate something and you don't want to disappoint them. Or more positively, you want to keep them hooked to your stuff. And so I'm very excited to see how they will like the new songs and if there are some fan favorites that they want to hear on upcoming tours or shows. So it's always like this surprise act, so to speak. Which tracks will be liked most, which tracks that you maybe like to perform, less favorites. And of course, we cannot wait to share it all in the crazy relief month in August, since we have our first headliner shows on the All for Metal cruise and also a meet and grill event for the fans. So we really want to celebrate it since it's something very special for us. And it's also like the first anniversary from us as a band, as in June 2023, it was also the first concert we ever did at Metal Fest Pilsen. So everything comes together in a huge celebration.
So tell us a little bit about this album, because of course you mentioned Eastern culture there, and of course we saw a little bit of that with the single The Way of the Samurai. What kind of things were you talking about as a band when you first sat down to work on the tracks for this album?
Basically, Gods of Metal is kind of a merge between the old songs or the image we created with Legends. So not every song is in the context of Far Eastern lands or the Eastern culture. We thought about integrating different kinds of creativity and culture in our journey throughout the upcoming albums too. And since we got the Year of the Dragon, and the dragon is kind of the symbol of the fantasy world, we wanted to pay tribute with a couple of songs to exactly that culture. We have The Way of the Samurai, we got the Year of the Dragon, also our main focus video that we are going to release, and also Temple of Silence could be still one of these 3 songs that really take a focus on that. So actually it was a small agreement within us all that we want to sail or set sails to that culture with this album, since also like the Year of the Dragon was kind of the opportunity to pay tribute, and we wanted to discover different kind of creative and cultural worlds anyway, and so this was just the next direction we took. Also, many of us are huge fans of the culture, of the elegance, and of different things. Like, for example, Antonio, he's a huge Cobra Kai fan. He also has played a lot of video games in that setting. Me, I had a student exchange, actually, to China back in school. And also huge anime, manga fan. And the culture is just simply amazing. And there's a lot of this to discover. So why not musically?
Yeah, definitely. You're talking to another anime manga fan here as well. So tell us a little bit about that. What was that like for you going across to China as a student? And because I was going to ask about immersing yourself in the culture. That is certainly immersing yourself in the culture. What was that experience like, and what did you feel that you took away from that experience?
I think that was a lot to do. It's more than 10 years ago, so I try to be now focusing on the impressions I had. Basically, I was 16 when the exchange was happening, and we have been one of the oldest students. So I was very happy and fortunate to be in the state to actually absorb the vibe and everything, to understand fully what we're going there to do. We have been on the first week in exchange family. So we were heading to an enclosed district with guards, so to speak. And this was already like a family that had higher standards there, because we also knew about others that had host families where hot water was not even manageable. And I think it's crazy to see the differences in between all the different families, but all of them have been very, very nice and kind to us, and they celebrated it, that they got a visit from, also another culture. I mean, they were really excited. We talked a lot because there was a lot of interest naturally from both sides, and I'm very grateful to also have seen the way the students have been taught. Like, for example, we've been also at the school, the Huamao Foreign Languages School in Ningbo, and they all had sports together, for example, in that huge big field, and everything was synchronized. So it's something very different to what we expect. Also, the way they are doing all the lessons, it's way different. They have workbooks and they have tasks, and it's much more like the frontal kind of type of education. I also was a teacher, so it was now very interesting to see all the differences there in the culture, how also students are taught. Every one of them have been pretty open-minded, pretty kind, and they spend a lot of time with us. So we had a lot of opportunities to merge in the culture. And they are very much structured.
Yeah.
The people we have been with, very cordial, and I still have contact to my friend from China after all these years, and she has opened up a macaron and cake store on her own. This is so beautiful to see that they all had their dreams and wishes and wanted to fulfill them. Also, we have managed to have a travel, 14 days around the country. We saw a silk factory. We've seen the tea fields, which was kind of very mesmerizing to see all the hills and the plateaus with green tea. And it was all celebrated in a ceremony. So they have a different kind of celebration of togetherness. Also, when we went to a restaurant, everything was shared. And it was always a very polite talk to each other. Everyone listened to stories and shared things. And also we went to like a restaurant where you had separate rooms. For when you are a family, you could rent a room and have your privacy there. So this is something that is celebrated differently, I think, than we have it here in Germany. And also when we were traveling on the Yangtze, for example, and seeing all the hills and all the small villages that are untouched by modern buildings or such. It was peaceful and calm, and you could just really relax there. And we also saw the high contrast there on the countryside when we visited a restaurant there. It was like very local, very just the necessary things, but a flat TV. So the contrast was also pretty much interesting to see. But all in all, even though I felt that there was a kind of calmness every time we took a visit anywhere, because I felt people there are very aware. And it was colorful and definitely a very, very, very like building experience, so to speak, to really dive in to a culture that you just see from news maybe or articles. Yeah. So I'm very fortunate to have done that.
So did you use that experience when you're working on this album? Because this feels like it would be a very, very personal album to you because of that experience.
For me, I wasn't involved working on the tracks there, but of course when we were setting up videos and such and talking about the vibe and everything, we all talked together as a band. And so, I'm much more the thing that you feel it when you perform the songs, and that you feel it when you talk about it is much more when you can get your own vibe to it. I see it from this perspective.
Definitely. Now, I wanted to talk to you about all of the shows that you're doing around the album launch as well. You mentioned before about the cruise. Tell us a little bit about these shows and how excited you are to be able to get out there and play these tracks live for everybody.
Yeah, actually, we thought about something very unique for our fans. And since we get the feedback that we are very meme worthy, why not exaggerating it and just book a ship and play there? And the thing is that our showgirl Christina has direct connections to the company. I'm not sure what Reederei means in English, so I'm very sorry that I cannot translate. But ship company does the job right now as filler, I hope. And so we worked on that. We would have a ship where we have a good stage so that a couple of hundred people can see the performance. We will put on a full show. And yeah, we are very excited since it's the first time where people really come for the songs that we play. I mean, beforehand we were part of a lineup, then we were a support act, and now it's really us, so to speak. Our celebration, our vibe, and also getting to know our fans. Like, who are they? And how do they enjoy it? And this is something so beautiful to see. We are very excited about it. We are also very excited who we will see again, since also on the tours there have been a couple of people who were traveling around and seeing us a couple of times. And other than that, we're also aware it's going to be very stressful, since also we have two festivals that are like 1,000 kilometers from each other, where we still are figuring out how to do the logistics. But it's something beautiful to see that we do have a lot of celebration and we do have a lot of opportunity to celebrate the release in all different kind of ways, so to speak.
Yeah.
And also...
Sorry, go ahead. Yep.
Sorry. I mean, if you have a question, just tell me, because also we have a limited time to talk about things.
You were saying about the special shows. I was going to say you're doing an intimate beer garden show as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was about going on with this. It's like a small meet and grill, which is even much more intimate than the cruise, since it's in a very cozy atmosphere. It's like a restaurant, and they have a backyard thing where we can build up a stage and have a barbecue. And we also thought about having different activities, because it's more like a family focused type of setting, that we go together, play some music, and have a beer and a steak or fries together, so to speak. And this is much more a direct feedback circle, so to speak, where people can really exchange their thoughts with each other about our songs, or with us, and ask more direct questions. And I think this is something so nice to see, that back in the days you always thought like there are all these unapproachable people on stage and you will never get a chance to talk about different kind of topics. And now we just want to give like a small contrast to it, that hey, we're open. If you want to celebrate with us, just feel invited. It's also in the middle of the week, so if you have nothing to do, come and have some fun with us.
Now, I know we are running out of time very, very quickly, so I've just got two quick questions before we go. First of all, Australia, is there any chance at some stage that the band might come to Australia for a tour? Because these singles have won over a lot of Australian fans. Is there any chance we might see you in Australia in the not too far distance?
Definitely. I mean, we are working on it to play on different continents right now. And also our friends from Windrose just paid a visit to your beautiful country. So it's definitely on our plan, since we also feel that you guys are very open to metal music. And of course, we would like to just experience all of that together with you.
Definitely. So to finish off, what would you like to say to our listeners out there before they sit down to take a listen to this amazing album when it comes out in August?
I think you were gone right now. I didn't hear anything.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What would you like to say to our listeners out there before they sit down and take a listen to this album on August 23rd?
Grab a beer, grab some friends, and get a barbecue done, because it's music that just wants to forge you together, that you have fun together, and that you just share some great vibes. So get yourself cozy, enjoy music, and enjoy life.